The phone call came on a Wednesday afternoon while I was sitting in a meeting, pretending to pay attention to a presentation. I can't even remember now. My phone vibrated 3 times. Dead, dead, dead. He never called more than once unless something was wrong. I excused myself, stepped into the hallway, and answered with my heart already racing. Grace. His voice was calm. Too calm. Your mother fainted this morning. She's awake now, but the doctor wants to keep her for observation. For a second, I couldn't speak. I'll be there tonight. After I hung up, I leaned against the wall and realized something that hurt more than the fear I felt. I didn't even know my mother had been feeling unwell. My name is Grace, and I never meant to become the daughter who stopped coming home. When I graduated from university and accepted my first job in another city, everyone treated it like the beginning of a wonderful life. My parents were the proudest people in the room. Dad hugged me and whispered, "Go and build the future we prayed for." Mom smiled through tears. "But don't forget where your room is," I laughed, as if I ever could. I promised them I'd come home every month. At first, I did exactly that. The last Friday of every month, I'd board a bus with snacks for the journey and spend the whole trip imagining Mom's cooking. Dad always seemed to know the exact minute my bus would arrive. He'd already be standing outside the gate before I reached the house. "There she is," he'd shout. Mom would pretend to complain. "At least let the girl put down her bag before you start asking questions." By evening, we'd all be sitting around the dining table. Dad would tell stories he'd already told 100 times. Mom would insist. I was getting too thin. I'd roll my eyes and laugh. Those weekends never felt important. They just felt normal. Then work became demanding. The first time I cancelled a visit, it really wasn't my fault. A major project landed on my desk 2 days before I was supposed to travel. I called Mom. "I'm so sorry. I can't make it this weekend." She didn't sound disappointed. "Don't worry about us. Your work comes first. I'll come next month. We know you will." The next month became another deadline, then a training course, then an office retreat. Each excuse was genuine. Each apology was sincere. Every phone call ended the same way. "I'll definitely come next month." Dad would laugh. "We're not going anywhere." Somehow, hearing those words made postponing easier. Years slipped by without announcing themselves. Instead of monthly visits, I came home at Christmas. Then Christmas became a quick 2-day trip because I had to get back for work. Eventually, I started saying things I never imagined. I'd say, "I'm really busy this weekend. I'll try next month. Let's just do a video call." Mom always smiled through the screen. Dad always asked if I was eating well. Neither of them ever complained. They only reminded me to work hard and take care of myself. I believed everything was fine because they never said otherwise. The strange thing about staying away is that change becomes invisible. It hides inside ordinary days. The first time I noticed, Dad's hair had turned almost completely white. I couldn't remember when it had happened. Mom no longer rushed to the gate when I arrived. She walked slowly, carefully. I told myself she was just tired. The woman who used to cook 6 different dishes for Christmas now sat down halfway through preparing lunch. "I need to rest these knees," she said with a smile. I laughed instead of asking why. The neighborhood changed too. The family next door had moved away. The mango tree we'd climbed, as children, had been cut down after a storm. A supermarket stood where our old football field used to be. Even my bedroom felt unfamiliar. The posters were gone. The book shelves were half empty. It looked less like someone lived there and more like someone used to steal. I always left telling myself I'd stay longer next time. There was always a next time until there wasn't. By the time I reached the hospital that Wednesday night, Dad looked smaller than I remembered, not shorter, just older. He stood up when he saw me. "I'm glad you came." Those 5 words carried more weight than he intended. Mom smiled weakly from the bed. "Look who's finally home." She said it like a joke, but I heard everything she didn't say. The doctor explained that she'd been ignoring symptoms for months. High blood pressure, exhaustion, stress. I looked at Dad. You knew? He nodded. We didn't want to worry you. Worry me? I asked, my voice breaking. I'm your daughter. Dad looked down at his hands. You've worked so hard to build your life. Every time we thought about Collins, we said, let's wait until she's less busy. I couldn't answer because they weren't the only ones who had been waiting. The next morning, I went back to the house alone to pick up a few things from Mom. The silence hit me. First, this house used to echo with voices. Now every room sounded empty. I walked into the kitchen. Mom's reading glasses were on the table beside an unfinished crossword puzzle. Dad's favorite chair had a folded blanket across the arm. On the wall was a calendar. Several dates had little circles around them. My birthdays, Christmas, Easter, the weekends I'd promised to visit. Some had tiny notes beside them. Grace coming. Others had been crossed out. I stood there staring till my vision blurred. Nobody had blamed me. Nobody had argued. Nobody had demanded more of me. They had simply kept making room for me, even when I stopped showing up. Mom came home a few days. Later, her recovery was slow, and for the first time in years, I stayed longer than a weekend. I cooked meals that never tasted as good as hers. Dad and I sat outside in the evening, saying very little. One afternoon, he looked at me and smiled. It's nice hearing footsteps in this house again. I almost cried. After Mom recovered, I returned to work, but I didn't return to my old habits. I stopped treating visits home like appointments I could reschedule forever. Sometimes I drove down just to have lunch with them. Sometimes I arrived on a Saturday morning and left that evening, not because there was a holiday, not because there was an emergency, just because they were there. People often ask me what changed my priorities. They expect me to talk about the hospital, but the truth is it wasn't the hospital. It was that calendar hanging in my parents' kitchen. It taught me something I wish I'd understood much earlier. Home doesn't disappear all at once. It changes one ordinary day at a time. Parents grow older, one season at a time, and love, no matter how deep it is, still needs your presence. These days, whenever I'm tempted to say, I'll come next month, I hear my father's voice instead. We're not going anywhere. He was wrong. We all are. That's why, whenever I can, I go home today.